Boys Under the Hood with James Stevenson and Pat Kelly.
Let's wake it up, whack. I come stepping with something pumping to keep it jumping. R&B rapping.
Crisscross.
Come on,
Can't stop me.
right? Okay, so where were
I was
you?
wondering why your shirt was on backwards.
My underpants are also on backwards. Where were you when this song came out and all that ridiculousness happened? Because there were some kids.
I was in like grade school.
Yeah, but there were some kids who were walking around in real life that started to wear backwards pants because of that song.
I think we were still tight rolling pants then too. Like that was the thing.
And then tighten up the bottoms like that.
Yeah, and then the hammer pants came out after that.
The tight roll. Okay, so that's when you roll. You've got to first of all you've got to roll the bottom so that it's tight against your ankle, and then you roll it up so it kind of grabs itself.
Flip it up. It's gotta be tight.
Yeah.
Now they call those skinny jeans or something, right? I
Yeah.
mean, skinny jeans,
Well, that's right. It's basically the same thing. What's going on? James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair. Welcome. It's Boys Under the Hood.
Nice to see you, man.
We've also got a special guest in the studio today. So, what are yours?
Yeah, so this is Anthony Santore from Tech Auto Service.
How you doing, guys?
And Tony and his father run Tech Auto Service, own and run Tech Auto Service on Page Boulevard. And he's here today to tell us a little bit about the new inspection system. We get a lot of questions about inspections and what'll pass and what won't and what's different, what's the same, all that stuff. So Tony's here today to tell us a little bit about that. On a side note, Tony actually gave me my start in working on cars. So he was kind of who trained me, who kind of got me going about 20 years ago. So aside from being the second most handsome tech in the area, he's an excellent technician, and I appreciate everything you did for me.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
So I want to, because we've talked about inspections here on Boys Under the Hood here recently. And there's been a lot of changes in Massachusetts State Inspection. It used to be if you knew a guy who ran an inspection station and maybe your car might not pass inspection, he could give you a sticker with a wink. He'd be like, here you go, here's your sticker. But now they're videotaping the entire process. How does that go, Anthony? Like, how?
The whole process has changed a lot. There's video of the whole inspection, and we take pictures of the cars. We take pictures of the front, the rear, the VIN plate, the mileage, and the whole inspection is recorded. So nothing can get by, they can watch everything, and it's a little more intrusive, a little more time consuming. For the consumer's point of view, it really hasn't changed that much, because they don't really know what we're doing, but it is longer and more intrusive. So.
But if you are that guy who has the car that would fail inspection, I'm sure they're hopping mad.
Those
these
days are gone. Yes, right. Those days are long gone.
So now, so how does that work? Does the RMV do they just randomly audit your business? How does that go?
Well, they can watch any inspection they want to. We don't know when they're watching or who's going to watch and when they're going to do it. So you have to assume you're being watched all the time, and it's all being recorded. They can even go back and watch an inspection long after it's been done. So if a big problem, let's say, is tinted windows, you're driving along and you get pulled over, your window tint's too dark. They can look back on the inspection and say, hey, was that legal, when you got the inspection done? So it's all recorded.
Also, it goes both ways. I mean, it could be used to get you in trouble, but it could also be used to kind of state your case. That, look,
it does protect us, yes, to a point.
And it protects the consumer as well. If they get a ticket for, a very dark tinting that the inspection proved was not too dark.
Very true, yes.
I appreciate you dropping by. We'll be talking to you more.
Sounds very involved.
It is very involved, and like I said, I guess it all really comes down to the safety of vehicles on the road. So how could you be mad about that? Really,
I mean, it sounds like it could benefit the consumer because the general public could be a little bit more safe, right? Because some of these vehicles that could pass inspection before for an extra $20 to the inspector, which we don't know happens, but it probably happened. That stuff's just not going to happen anymore.
We've actually got a question that relates to inspections. You want to get right into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
We're taking your car care questions. You can submit them at precisionautorepair.biz or log on to the Precision Auto Repair Facebook page. Probably the easiest two ways to do that. Michael from Chicopee is driving a 2007 Subaru WRX. He's chosen to donate to the Heart Springs Foundation, which we're going to talk about that here in a second. There's a new thing we're doing. He writes, I wanted a little more power, and so I got a catback. A what?
Yeah, Tony, you want to explain what a catback
What is a
system
catback?
A catback system is basically you replaced everything after the cat converter. So you left the factory cat converter to keep it legal, and you replaced everything behind it, hoping to get a little more power and of course a little more sound. Everybody wants that rumbling sound.
Okay. It says, but I can't, he got the cat back, but I can't pass inspection, even though the manufacturer says the exhaust is 50 state legal. What is the ruling on this? Who determines pass or fail, and should I just keep trying shops to see if someone will pass me, or should I put the old one back in and get the sticker? How does that, they said it's gonna pass in 50 states. What's going on here?
Yeah, that's something that all these aftermarket manufacturers are doing, and it's not actually accurate. If it's any louder than factory, it's not supposed to pass.
Any louder at all?
Any louder at all.
The
right.
stereo?
No, not
No,
the
oh,
stereo.
the
So that
exhaust.
would just
Oh,
be
the
the
exhaust.
Okay, the
exhaust.
exhaust,
yeah.
right, okay.
Exhaust system, yes.
Okay. So, well, now how do they measure that? Is there
There's decibel meters that measure that, but if you can just hear it just from experience, but there is no one answer to that. This
So-
is a tough one.
So it's a subjective test?
It is very subjective, yes.
now is that the kind of thing that you can quickly remove? Because I know for a while there were people putting those whistling exhausts on their cars. Is that something you can pop off for the inspection?
It looks like that's the end of his question. It says, can I put the old one on, then get a sticker, then put the new one back on right after? So do those cameras record sound as well?
They don't record sound, no.
Okay.
So he could do that, and people do that, but if you get pulled over, you're gonna get nabbed, and they don't discretion that. You're in trouble for that.
So now you get pulled over by a cop. Could that lead back to you getting audited for the video of the inspection if he thinks it's too loud?
It could, but if there's no sound, there's no proof that we did anything wrong, so. That's a tough one, and a lot of people do that. They do change the exhaust after, and nothing you can do about
So
that.
I would say that his real issue is with the manufacturer of this device. I mean,
Yeah.
if they're telling him it's 50 states legal and he's failing inspection, get your money back.
Very
right?
true, yep.
You're listening to Boys Under the Hood. We're joined by James Stevenson and special guest Anthony Santore, who works with Tech Auto Service right there on Page Boulevard in Springfield. He is an inspection specialist, does a ton of them. How many you do a day?
We probably do 20 to 30 a day.
How many on the last day of the month?
About 20 to 30
Okay.
last day, yeah.
Why does everybody wait till the last month?
I don't know, and usually they wait a day after so they can get that extra month.
I do the same thing.
Yeah, everybody does it.
Who doesn't do
Yeah,
that?
and if you don't get caught, hey, you're good to go.
No, if you get your inspection done early and be that guy, it's up at the end of the month, I'm gonna get it done on the 25th. You're a knucklehead, because if you do wait till the day it's due, you get pulled over by a cop. You go, oh, sorry man, I was on my way. I know I gotta do it. I'm on my way there right now. You're not gonna get a ticket for that. You blame it on James Stevenson at Precision Auto Repair if you do. Car care questions, you can submit them.
Jimbo Stevens. You're going to blame it on Jimbo Stevens.
Jimbo Stevens, which brings us to our next question. Becky in Wilbraham drives an 05 Toyota Corolla. She says, hi James and Pat and Tony. She didn't know you were here, but she would have said something, sure. Recently bought a smaller car because with a new job I commute 45 minutes each way. Problem is that the car failed inspection for bad tires, tire ends and shocks. But since I bought the car from a friend for a deal, I have to pay for the repairs. My question is, do you think it's unsafe to keep commuting? And how long can I wait until I get the issues fixed? Money is tight with the new job, but I should be able to afford it when I get my taxes back in 2019. She writes, just want to add that I really like your show. And that guy a few weeks ago sounds like he eats his own snots in his parents' basement.
He really did.
Hashtag Jimbo Stevens for president. Okay, so she has tire ends, bad tires, and shocks. How long can she live?
It's tie rod ends.
Tie rod ends.
I'm sorry, tie rod ends.
Do you want to tell us what tie rod ends are?
Tie rod ends are basically what steers the car, and they're out near the end of the tires, so when you're turning your car, they're moving the tires back and forth as you steer.
Right.
If a bad tie rod end, that's dangerous. Don't drive it. That's my opinion.
So the safety issues can cause alignment issues, which can cause her tire issues and everything. Tony can field this question, but I would simply say, if you failed for safety, you probably shouldn't be commuting in that vehicle, and especially whatever the distance that she's saying it is, 45 minutes each way.
Yeah, I think she said bad tires too.
Yeah, tires and tie rod end.
That's
Yep.
obviously dangerous.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
There are different places that have financing options. I know that we have some where you can defer payments for 6 months, 12 months based on your credit score. You can get 0% financing for that period of time. If you have like awful credit, in most cases, I believe our approval rating is about 96%, and there's a different program for that. If you borrow $500, they charge you $40 if you pay it off within 90 days. If you borrow $5,000, they charge you $40 if you pay it off within 90 days. Day 91, it gets big, but you know, if you pay it off within 90 days, so that might be an option for you, Becky, to seek some financing options for those tires and that safety stuff, because the last thing you want is a much larger problem. But yeah, I mean, if you fail a vehicle, that's not really
It's not like
subjective at that point. Like, there's something seriously
It's
wrong
dangerous,
here.
It's
Yeah,
not like
driving
it's not like a blinker.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not just you that you have to worry about either. You know, like, oh, can I make it to work? It's that pedestrian on the side of the road. Does something let go? Does the car veer off the road? Do you
It's the
hurt
car on
somebody?
the highway next to you.
Exactly, yeah, there's a whole bunch of things.
18-wheeler you're standing next to,
Yeah.
you're driving next to.
If your credit is like impossibly bad, I just want to mention this. I've got a buddy of mine who knows a friend whose cousin's name is Fat Freddy. Happy to meet you right out here in the alley. We can get that deal done right now. You're listening to Boys Under the Hood. We're joined in the studio by Anthony Santore from Tech Auto Service in Springfield, James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair at West Springfield. We're right back after this. Hey, what's going on, man? I'm just trying to keep it real in the field. I don't know what that means. What's going on? Anthony Santore from Tech Auto Service joins us for today's Boys Under the Hood. James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair. What's going on, man?
I used to really enjoy this song, and then they had the Rex and Effects. They had all those songs, the Humpty Dance and all that.
Oh,
The guy with the big nose, the big
Call
nose,
me
the big
Humpty.
nose, yeah.
I didn't like the backwards pants thing because now the butt's in the front, so you had like that bulge. You had like that the fupa.
What if you got to go to the bathroom? You got to go over there. You got to go over the fence at that point.
That's
You can't
what
go
I'm
through the
saying.
gate.
You can. It's harder to run from authorities with your pants like that too. Are these mics on? Oh, sorry. Hi. Welcome back to Boys Under the Hood. Anthony joining us here in the studio today with James,
guys.
of course. You can send us your questions, text them to the Precision Auto Repair Facebook page or at precisionautorepair.biz. Let's get back into it. Ryan from West Springfield drives a 2009 Chevy Traverse. He says, my truck is at shop name removed because it's running rough, just kind of stumbling a little when I'm taking off and the check engine light starts flashing. My friend says I need a tune-up, but the shop says I need a walnut blaster service.
Keep it together, Pat. Let's come on.
They couldn't come up with a better name than a walnut blaster service for that. Okay, I'm afraid to ask this. What the heck is a walnut blaster service? Do you know that? And should I just YouTube how to tune it up myself and see if that works?
Well, you never want to YouTube how to fix your car, you know, really for anything other than maybe wiper blades. And we've, you know, still seen those sometimes come off. So
Right.
it's always best to have a professional take care of that stuff for you. With a walnut blaster services, the problem that it sounds like you have, Pat's still giggling over here about walnut blaster. So the
Sounds like a bad movie.
the problem it sounds like he has is he's got a lot of excess carbon built up on his what are called valves. It's a piece of the upper end of the engine. So if these things don't close fully, the engine's not going to run right. So if there's carbon kind of in there blocking the space between where the valve seats against the head, you've got a problem. Spark plugs themselves will not fix that issue. So what they're requesting or what they're recommending is what's called a walnut blaster service. It's actually crushed up walnut shells. It's like a media blaster, and what you do is you kind of put it over the intake and you blow out all the carbon and the dirt and everything, and you get it all out and make it all nice and clean again and new. I don't really like that. We have one of those machines. They're sometimes messy. You know, you can, like on a lot of the BMWs, we use them, and there's a very particular attachment that fits up to it, and you know, that's great. It's nice and clean, but you know, they have other ones that just don't quite fit right. They're not meant for every vehicle. We prefer to just manually clean the valves. So you get in there, we have a special set of, you know, tools for that, little brushes and things like that, little picks, and you can kind of clean that stuff out, vacuum it out, and you get the same, if not better, result. Because even with the walnut blaster, it doesn't get perfect. Unfortunately, spark plugs are not going to fix your issues. So there's not really much that you would really be able to YouTube that would help you on this one. Ryan, sorry about that.
What's interesting to me is as far along as technology has come, the best thing to do this with is crushed up walnut shells.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously, it's, right, I mean, you would, right, it just sounds
It's
kind
gonna
of
give you
cavemanish to me.
something better than walnuts. Yeah.
But I guess so, they're hard enough to get the stuff off, but they're soft enough that they're not gonna cause any damage. Is that pretty much the thing?
Yeah, the easiest way to explain it, it's like sandblasting, but you can't put sand in there because if any of that gets passed into the engine, you're going to have a big problem. Where the walnut blasters, even though you do it when the valves are closed, if some of it sneaks by, it'll just kind of get burned up.
So you don't like the nut blaster, you like to do it by hand?
Yeah, I'm not a nut blaster. I do it all by hand.
You're listening to Boys Under the Hood. We're joined by James Stevenson from Precision Auto Repair and Anthony Santore from Tech Auto Service, right there on 341 Page Boulevard in Springfield, if you're mapping it. These guys,
excellent shop too.
You know each other for a while, many years, yeah?
Cousins.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, you know each other?
Cousins.
Oh, you
Yeah,
got family?
yeah. Through marriage, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Didn't even know that when we met way back when. and
Yep.
Turned out, yeah.
Okay, so now do you like the person that you mutually know, or?
His brother?
Yeah.
I don't
He's
know.
a great guy.
Oh.
He's a great guy.
We're taking your car care questions, and let's talk about this now because we used to give out a $25 gift card to the best question, but now we're asking the people who submit questions to choose a charity that we're now going to donate $25 in their name to. What are the charities, and how do we go about this, James?
So so instead of giving the $25 gift card, we're going to give a $25 donation in your name to a one of three charities. So this month, what we've got is Heart Springs. They help Big Brothers and Big Sisters organization. We've got Wade's Army, which helps children with neuroblastoma. And we've also got the Open Pantry, so the parish cupboard of West Springfield, just helping people eat. So 3 really, really good causes, and over the next couple weeks we'll have people come in and they'll tell us a little bit more about their respective charity and why you should choose them when asking your question. So everybody that asks a question, we're not going to donate $25 for every single person, but just the question of the week. And I think that this is something really, really good that we can do for the community around us to help, just to help in general.
I love the Heart Springs one too, because
Springs is awesome.
not only is it helping out the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, but it also helps me with my closet, man. I got stuff lying around. We're constantly putting bags of clothes out.
Junk.
And they give you the date they're going to show up, they pick up the bag, and you're helping somebody out, and you're helping you out too.
You don't realize how much stuff you have in your closets, in your basement and everything else that you haven't touched in years and you're never going to touch again, but it could really mean the world to somebody else. So yeah, donating to organizations like that, and I believe Heart Springs picks all that stuff right up for you too.
Yeah, they give you the date and the time that they're going to come to your house. They give you like a 4-hour window.
We'll come right to it, yeah.
How hard is it to bring the stuff upstairs and put it in a bag?
Stuff you're never gonna use again.
Never, ever,
Somebody
ever,
can
and it
use
could
it.
change somebody else's life.
Right. I've got a lot of clothes that I used to fit into before I got fat that I'm going to be donating. Not all of them, because now they're gold clothes, I'm not going to throw in the towel entirely.
A
but
gold clothes? What is
gold, like gold pants, like those. That's my gold to fit back into them.
it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I've got some of those.
Stonewashed denim.
Yeah. Oh, no, they're not from the 80s. No, I got fat recently the past couple of years, and I've really plumped. Oh, I got you get married, that happens. Just,
Too much banana milk.
Too much banana milk, which we found out
They don't sell at Stop and
they
Shop
don't
anymore.
sell Stop and Shop anymore.
I was gonna pick it.
Big Y's got them.
Big Y, yeah, right
Pretty
across
sure.
the street.
Yeah, but I don't mean to diss Stop and Shop either. I like them as well, but the Big Y's got the banana milk, so a little bit better for us. All right, I can't read this last question. I know it's from Rachel from Munson, who drives a 2016 Hyundai, but I can't read what the issue is, James. So what do we have there?
All right, so it's Rachel from Munson. She's driving a 2016 Hyundai. It says, I was driving my car on the highway when suddenly it stopped. Each time I pushed the gas pedal, it was very scary. I ended up having to have the car towed to a dealership for service since my car is under warranty. There I learned there was an issue with the car's fuel injector. So I asked the mechanic what could have caused it. He said it could have been a number of things. When I asked what I could do to prevent it from happening again, he said use a higher octane fuel, in quotations, every once in a while. Any insight as to whether or not this could actually help, or if this is a common issue? Thanks in advance. Love the show, guys. You are hilarious. Rachel, flattery will get you everywhere.
Before you answer that, so when you go to the store and you get the gas additives,
did you notice that I have glasses sitting right here and I had to put this tablet to my face to be able to read this
I
thing?
thought you're holding up like you just wouldn't look
No,
at it. You're like,
I'm slowly getting blind, and I can't even. I got glasses right here, and I just basically am fogging up this tablet by reading. It's so close.
Can't tell you how many times I fumble to find my glasses because I can't see when I'm trying to find them.
Your glasses to find your glasses.
Yeah, try to put contacts in when you got no glasses on. It's impossible. So she said it was a fuel injector, or someone told her it was. Now, but the stuff that you get at a store that you put into your tank.
Yeah.
But does that help clean out your fuel injector? Does it really help and do what it says it does?
Well, the first thing is there's little to no advantage at all to using a higher octane fuel if your vehicle doesn't require it. It is not meant really to clean your fuel system. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the majority of the gas stations in the area all get their gas from the same larger tank supplier,
Yeah,
right?
same distributor.
Yeah, they get it all
Feed 'em all.
from the same place, and then what they do is what makes Sunoco gas or Shell gas or whatever is they drop an additive pack in there, and that'll have some cleaners and things in it, but just using a higher octane fuel isn't going to clean anything up. Unfortunately, that technician is just incorrect, right? So maybe at some point in time he got misinformation. What the difference in fuel is the higher octane fuel is less susceptible to something called pre-ignition. So it's usually used in what's called a higher compression engine. So remember, we talked about it before. A vehicle needs air, fuel, and spark to run. All right. Air being, you're in the world and the car can suck in air, and then there's pressure inside the engine. A higher compression engine will have more pressure, and that fuel could ignite prematurely under. Pat's still giggling.
Well,
Is it premature?
I'm happy
Is that
that
what it
you-
was?
no, I'm happy-
Is that what it was?
I'm happy that
What's
you
the
do-
key word that we set them off?
that you defined air for our New York Yankees fans who are listening. We need that.
But it's actually all around us and out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So we
We're
the
in the
air,
world.
like
Yeah,
air,
you're
like
breathing.
the stuff that
Stuff that
keeps
we're
us
in.
alive. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
So the fuel, a lower octane fuel could ignite a little bit early, and it could cause all kinds of different running issues. So an engine that requires higher octane fuel, you got to use it. An engine that requires lower octane fuel, you don't necessarily need to do it. But there are a few different fuel system additives that some people like. I wouldn't really recommend any one over the other. We don't typically use those. We usually try to solve whatever the problem is. So being lack of maintenance, or an issue with maybe compression caused by carbon on the valves, where you might need that walnut blaster service that the other guy was talking about. So that type of thing.
While we're on this subject, and Anthony, you can chime in on this as well. In your experience, is name brand gasoline better for a car than gas from Larry's Auto Service? I didn't mean to yell there.
Who's Larry?
That was just an example of just a small gas station that has no big name in front of it.
Bill, Larry,
Bill,
Tim,
Larry.
Bob, Chip.
What do you think?
I always wanted to be named Chip.
Everybody needs a friend named Chip. That's my buddy Chip. Where you going? Chip's house.
Yeah, Chip.
What the hell with Chip?
Never met a Chip I didn't like.
So what do you think? Is there a difference between the gasolines?
What do you think, Tony?
There's a very little difference in the gasolines. Some manufacturers use some additives that will help, like James was saying about cleaning the valves, help spark knock. But like he said, higher octane gas, if your manufacturer doesn't call for it, there's no point in using it. It's just burning it. You're just throwing away money. If you have a high performance car, then you want to use a higher octane gasoline. But like he was saying, the higher octane gas in a small economy car is kind of a waste of money.
So my Corolla won't get it some more if I put high octane gas.
You're not going to get any faster.
Those
because
four
you put
cylinders
high
aren't
octane,
going to start
right.
killing it.
No, you're just going to be wasting money for no reason.
Tony, do you guys see a lot of issues with these things, these Hyundai Sonatas, having this type of
It's
issue?
pretty common. A lot of times it's just simply just a bad fuel injector. It's nothing anybody did wrong. It's not lack of maintenance. Sometimes things just go bad, and it happens.
Life. If you drive it, it's going to break eventually.
Like you were saying, we're all in this air around us, and it happens.
In the air.
Anthony Santore from Tech Auto Service. Thanks for dropping by today.
No
man.
problem. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Tony is one of the only people I know that, or Anthony is one of the only people I know that for years just calls me Jimbo. The only person I know that over and over and over for years.
It's been a hard time switching to James, but
Really?
it's been Jimbo all along.
It's-
Yes.
I just caught him a minute ago.
He stopped himself.
He stopped
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something I've been very careful about since the very beginning.
Yeah.
And I always want, and I have to ask this: did your mom used to call you Jimmy?
So I know how people know me based on, whatever name they call me. So my mother calls me Jamie, right? So like my mother, my grandmother, people that, have known me since I was, wearing diapers a couple months ago, they call me Jamie. And then I always refer to myself as James, and then professionally a lot of people tend to call me Jim. But my dad and my grandfather were Jim, and I never go by Jim, so I don't know where they got that from. But yeah, so I'll know. And then Tony's the only one he calls me Jimbo.
But Tony said he wanted us to call him Anthony.
Anthony.
And you
Yeah.
can call him
I call him
Tony
Tony because I don't, I mean, there's
only
name
a
swapping
select-
going on all over the
There's a
place.
select few people that actually call me Tony. Most people call me Anthony. So if you say Tony, I don't even listen sometimes. I don't even hear it. So.
No, there's one thing I do want to be clear on. You wearing diapers up to recently, that was strictly recreationally, though.
Yeah,
right?
just-
that was recreationally.
Old habits.
Yeah. Let's give out $25 to a local charity. What
So
do
it
you,
looks like
do you think?
Rachel chose Wade's Army.
You like Rachel's question
I
best?
thought Rachel's question was really good, because that's I mean, you get that sort of a question a lot, you know? People don't know the difference there. I think that's a great question. So Rachel from Munson, thanks for asking that. We're gonna make a $25 donation to Wade's Army in your name.
Appreciate you hanging out, James. I look forward to seeing you next
Awesome,
Tuesday.
thanks for having me. Anthony,
Beauty,
thanks for coming in,
guys.
bud.
Thank you very
Anthony
much. I
from
appreciate
Tech
it.
Auto Service.
Tech Auto Service.
Great shop. You know, great shop in Springfield, Page Boulevard. You need your inspection sticker, or you need some service there. You know, obviously, they're a really good shop.
You're always welcome here.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.